I know I haven't posted a story about my haunted friend in a while, but that's for a good reason. Something unfortunate happened to him, and his life is still being affected by this extreme haunting. He experiences this every day, and no matter how hard he tries, he cannot stop it. Through inviting Andy into his home, then opening that mysterious box when he was young, then to playing a Ouija board, something evil is attached to him, and there may not be any way to get rid of it. After months, I finally heard from him, and we sat down and talked, and with his permission, I will tell his story. What he went through and why he was gone. We left off when he was a teenager, but he wants to revisit what led up to what happened. This event took place in December of 2019, 1 week before Christmas. Normally, we would speak, and he would give me a rundown of what happened, and together we would put it in story form. But here is what happened in his own words. For a brief time in my childhood, life was normal. I was happy and had a loving family and everything was good. Then one day, Andy had come into my life, and I, being naive, I invited him in. Little did I know that inviting him in would be complete and absolute hell. I just got home from work and got dinner ready. I don't mind living alone, but not by choice. But I wouldn't want to burden anybody with my demons, literally. After I ate, I went to the couch and turned on the television. Nothing was on worth watching, so I turned it off and took out my cell phone. I was texting my friend when my phone rang. Then I noticed the caller ID said unavailable, so I let it ring 3 times. Then I hesitantly picked it up to hear static and garbled voices. As I was about to hang up, a loud scream blared out of the phone speaker. And I jumped, dropping the phone to the ground. Whoever it was hung up. The voice sounded familiar. It was a woman's voice, and it sounded like my mother. I got up, grabbed the phone, and dialed my mother's number, and it went straight to voicemail. So I called my house, and again got the voicemail. I texted my mom. "Hi Mom, did you just call me?" I figured I'd get no response because I felt she turned off her phone. But before I put my cell phone away, I noticed the iPhone chat bubble appeared, showing my mom was typing. Then the bubble went away, with no message. So I called her back immediately. The phone rang once, then again went to voicemail. What is going on? I thought, but before I freaked myself out even more, I said maybe she's just busy, and I put the phone in my pocket, trying not to worry about it. Just then there was a loud knock at my front door. I looked at the door confused because no one ever comes to visit, but maybe a long shot it's my mom surprising me. And maybe that's why she didn't answer the phone. I run over to the door and put my hand on the knob, but I figured I should check first. I look through the peephole and I see a woman standing there with her head down and her hair covering her face. It has to be my mom, playing a joke, so I open the door and there is no one there. It dawns on me that whatever this evil force is must be screwing with me, so I close the door and lock it. I start to walk into my bathroom when my phone starts to ring again. I look at the display and see my mom's name on the caller ID. I pick it up immediately and hear the same static from before, and that garbled voice is there again. I yelled, "Mom!" into the phone and heard that scream again. Then the static faded away and I heard my mom on the other end, clear as day. "Honey, are you alright?" Relieved, I answered, "Yeah, Mom, I'm sorry. I got a weird call before and thought something happened to you." Mom said, "I'm alright. You are still coming this weekend, right? For Christmas?" I laughed a bit and said, "Yeah, I got my time off approved, so I'll be there." My mom said laughingly, "What do you mean? You own the company." I said, "I know, I just had to make sure everything was in order before I take the time, but I will be there." Mom said, "Alright, well you get some rest. I will see you in a few days." We then said goodbye and I felt better. A bad headache was coming on strong, so I slid the medicine cabinet open and grabbed some Aleve. I closed the medicine cabinet, and standing there over my right shoulder in the mirror was a black shadow. I could feel it breathing on me. The hot breath made me jump away from it, and in the blink of an eye, it wasn't there. I went to leave as the door slammed shut. I tried to open the door, but it wouldn't open. I took a deep breath and tried to calm myself down. The lights started to flicker and dim. I turned to face the mirror, but before I could think, the mirror shattered, sending glass everywhere. Quickly, I shielded my face with my hands, sending glass into my arms. The pain was instant as I fell to the floor. As a reflex, I grabbed the pieces of glass from my forearm and my wrist, opening the wounds, and the blood came gushing out. I went to open the door. I was still trapped, but wasn't sure if it still wouldn't open or my hands were just too slippery. So I grabbed the towels from the bathroom to stop the bleeding. The world started to fade, and the next thing I remember is waking up in a hospital room, all bandaged up. I don't know how I got there. Over the next few hours, I was questioned by the hospital staff and the police. To anyone, it would seem that I tried to commit suicide. I'm going to say this: I am not crazy, I am not depressed, and I in no way tried to kill myself. My explanation as to what happened that night was the problem. No one will believe that I am being terrorized by an invisible monster that takes pleasure in torturing me, so I was admitted to the psychiatric hospital where I was for the last 6 months. It was supposed to be 3 months, but due to COVID and other things that happened while I was there, they thought it would be best if I stayed for an extra 3 months for evaluation. The first few days were a blur, and the doctors almost had me convinced that I was hallucinating everything from the moment that Andy showed up in my life, and that I imagined the entire thing, and that in my psychotic state I smashed the mirror and inflicted these wounds upon myself, and instead of admitting it, I chalked it up to a haunting. It wasn't until night 3 or 4 when I woke up and saw him standing at the foot of my bed. It was Andy. I knew this was not going to be an easy stay. Thank you very much for listening, and I'll scare you guys later.